as you know, being a trader, it's all about position sizing.
Yeah.
And it's all about risk appetite. If you are 30 years old and you have some savings and you want to take risk because you don't have as much as you'd like for the future, but you've got a good job, go ahead, take the risk. Make a calculated, thoughtful risk, not just buying an option and hoping a stock goes up. But if this is your thesis that cryptocurrencies is going to go from $2 trillion to $200 trillion, which is my thesis, I think it's the biggest opportunity I've ever seen. And it's going to be the largest wealth accumulation in all history in the shortest period of time. The network adoption currently for crypto is growing twice the speed the internet did with the same number of users. So back in 1998, the internet was growing at 63% a year, had about 500 million users. Crypto's about 500 million users now. It's growing at 113% a year, which means it gets to 1 billion people by next year or the year after. Remember, the network is both the user and the application and the investor, right? It's all the same thing, which is why people struggle. It's a speculative asset. It's not. It's the future of finance. Yes, it's all of those things.
Right.
I've lost my train of thought. Well, yes, with crypto, is it a buy here? So we're armed with some macro secular trends, which is massive network adoption. We're seeing regulation that is not banning of it. We're seeing in India, it's the second largest adoption of any country in the world of this. India is very meaningful in the size of this. We're seeing US, we're seeing everybody moving into this arena. So, should we be a buyer of the dips or a seller of the rallies? If we're in a secular trend that is exponential in nature, then a 50% drawdown is a hell of an opportunity. And you can either be slightly risk averse, in which case you put a small portion of your portfolio, because this is a 70% volatility asset.
Yeah.
So fine, then put 3%, 5% of your portfolio and treat it like an option. It's not going to go to zero, particularly if it's a big one like Ethereum. So maybe it falls another 50%. So can you lose 2.5% of your portfolio? Fine, that's not a problem. But if you're young and you're into technology and you want to take a bet on the future and you've got a steady job and you can afford to take a bet, go for it. Don't do that if you're 70 years old because you need your money for retirement. But we're all allowed to take a few bets in our life, and for one or two of them to go wrong. We talked about that at the beginning of the interview. That's okay, but that's not wild speculation. That's thoughtful process building, framework building. Build your investment case, look for confirmation, and then do it. Yeah. So let me make it really easy for you.
Yeah.
Step back from the noise. Anybody can create a coin. Like anybody can create a startup and say, I'm the new fintech solution for India.
Yeah.
99% aren't worth anything.
Okay.
But some are. Okay. So this is like VC investing, but you've got big products like Ethereum, which is now like investing in Google 20 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So why are these other tokens? It's straightforward. Bitcoin is incredibly secure in how it's constructed, which is this proof of work. You have to solve the algorithm to mine Bitcoin, and you're protecting the network, and it's slow. And it's not very good to use for high input things. Now, people are building layers on top that do that, but basically the world's moved on quite fast. But it's incredibly secure, and there's never can be more than 21 million. It's a very understandable, unique thing. But it's a bit slow for some applications. Ethereum, incredibly adaptable. It's an applications layer tool that you can build on. So fantastic. Problem is the network is so in demand that the fees of using the network are high.
All right.
So, and also it's still not fast enough for some of the really crazy fast payment systems we need. If we think of the Internet of Things, where all of the everything digital around us is streaming stuff. We will have streaming payments. Ethereum cannot handle that. So most of these other what called layer one chains solve one of two things. They're either faster or they're cheaper. But they all come with a trade-off, which is they're more centralized, so they're less secure.
All right.
So that's basically all of those are solving different things. So then again, we look at them and saying, well, who's using these? What's growing? So we saw a lot of developers building on top of Solana. We're seeing interesting network growth in Terra Luna and AVAX. Those are the three that we've seen. Now, will that last? Because Ethereum's about to go through some changes that should make the network cheaper to use and maybe faster. So do we need these other ones? We don't know, but this is what these are the bets we can make, is one thing versus another, much like we would in the equity market by saying, we think this company is going to outperform that company. So don't forget, if the network becomes valuable, you make a fortune. So these are the layer ones. We've also got these DeFi tokens. Again, that's what your bet is with the DeFi token, let's say Aave or Uniswap or these things. Well, all we're saying again is, listen, this fintech solution, in your terminology, is going to get adoption. So it's like the Paytm thing. Is it going to work or not? Is it overvalued? It's exactly the same process.
All right.
Which is, are people going to adopt the use of this at scale? Yes or no? And that's the bet. Those are the bets we're taking. They're all future style bets. So here's the magic of Bitcoin or crypto, all of crypto. You're thinking like somebody who's lived in a banking world.
Yeah.
But the difference here is you can store these assets, and you should yourself. So it's called cold storage. There are little devices like a Ledger Nano X or a Trezor, and they basically, your coins on the exchange, they may be commingled with other customers, but you transfer it to your wallet, you own it. You'll hear an expression in crypto, not your keys, not your coin. So you own the private keys, they're yours. It's the same as, do you keep your gold by golding, do you have certificates, or do you physically hold your gold in a safe? Right? So you can do that in crypto at scale, and you can trade out of that. Unlike gold, where it's a pain to transfer it out of the vault and do this, in a little device, secures it, and you have the keys, and nobody else can take it. The world can go bust. There could be the biggest debt crisis on earth, and nobody can take that away.